Hello.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Covert Report with Susan Lindauer. We have a wonderful show for you today. We have a Chinese whistleblower. He is exposing that China has been manufacturing airplane parts and they are faulty. So that's a summation. Charles Shi is his name. And Charles, welcome to my show today.
Thank you, Susan. I'm glad to speak to you and the audience. I worked as the East Asia Supply Chain Manager, Aircraft Group of Moog, since 2006. I actually started the supply chain here in China. For Moog is a U.S. company, New York stock listed. The headquartered in East Aurora, New York. Now I'm exposing extraordinary aircraft safety threat caused by a Chinese machining supplier named Suzhou Nihonji Precision Parts Company Limited. This company we came to know in late 2013, which was introduced by my then direct manager. The manager is Zhou Zhou. Aircraft Group of Moog, we manufacture the flight control systems for customers like Boeing, Airbus.
I know this seems like a very basic question. Explain what the flight control system, what that encompasses.
Yes. Yeah, flight control systems is very critical for the airplane. So that's basically when we sit in the airplane, we see from the window the wings. You see when take off and land in the airplane, and also during the flight. So the wings and also the tail rudders and horizontal stabilizers, they move. All those moving flaps are controlled by Moog systems. So the Chinese supplier we are talking about, they became a Moog aircraft supplier during late 2013 until now, and we gave them 30 plus part numbers. One of the part number of the 13 plus part numbers is identified as single point of failure, SPOF. If that part used any material or substandard material, it fails during the flight, that can simply cause the malfunction or breakage of the subsystem of Moog actuators.
Let me kind of translate this for laymen. If a single point of failure can cause the entire, am I correct in thinking that the single point of failure can cause the entire flight system to become defective?
Right, and if that defective take place during the flight, that can possibly cause the airplane to malfunction and to crash, and causing people's life.
This is actually a very serious. This is a critical safety issue.
Right. That part is a metal part. It's a steel part. But that part is single point of failure for Boeing 737 spoiler. When we landed the airplane, we saw the wings. There are flaps on both sides of the wing. They were suddenly erect. That flaps served as a brake to slow down the airplane and landing. So that system is called spoiler. And the are talking about the single point failure was given to the Chinese supplier who supplied those parts since 2015 to Moog as a single source. Mentioning that.
So the single source means it's got an exclusive contract.
Yes, and it's only one that supplied that part, single point failure part, since 2015 in the world.
Yes, let's talk about the Chinese supplier. Let's talk about the Chinese supplier.
Okay. So that supplier was exited, exited by BA Aerospace. I was told of that information. Then I asked why. My people told me they used substitute material in large quantities for BA Aerospace that suppliers parts because they used counterfeit material. So that resulted in the failure for BE Aerospace. So that in aerospace we call the material counterfeit. We use the terminology of substitute. It's a non-aerospace grade of material. So we call that
non-aerospace grade of material.
No, wow. When upon I learned this, this bad news, I immediately, told my boss, Zhou. His first name is J-O-G, Zhou. Last name Z-O-U, Zhou. He's a Chinese American. Working really, really hard to promote that supply. When I told him the problem of that supplier, the history of that supplier, he just brushed off the period of time from April to June 2015. Okay, so I requested the guy, who is managing that supplier, to conduct several, process audits and kept, watching closely on a daily basis on that supplier.
When you went to your boss, who is a Chinese American with a U.S. passport, okay, and he's been promoting the supplier to Moog that is providing these faulty parts, and so when you first went to him, he said, "Oh, this was a temporary thing."
Yeah, he said that problem was caused by raw material vendors. So it's innocent mistake. That is what he told me. And BE Aerospace is international aerospace manufacturer. They manufacture what? Kitchenwares and the chairs, the seating systems of the airplanes. Even they stopped working with buying from that supplier because they use the cheap, bad material. So even they, stopped working with them even before Moog, started to source any parts from that supplier. Because you see, this is the critical point. Okay, so at that time when I told this, and my boss insisted working on with that supplier, and he instructed my people to expedite giving more business to that Chinese organized crime. That supply is a privately owned manufacturer. It's a small company. They don't have much capacities. Okay, so in order to welcome more parts from Moog, they used unknown second-tier suppliers to Moog, which is violation of FAA, order, standard, and regulation, and also, of course, Moog, quality requirement. You see, that supplier is using unknown know the source of the parts. 11 parts out of the 30 plus part numbers, Moog sourced from that supplier was made a completely unknown source. That is a big violation. We don't even know the source of the parts. So when I found this situation, I was really concerned. So I asked the supplier quality manager by the name of Claire Stadek. She was a British national. She was within my team here in China, and she was the person who got this supplier audited and approved to work with Moog. But her job in doing that audit, and approval is problematic. Okay, I asked Claire to go to audit whatever, the unknown sources of the second tier supplier of that supplier, NHJ, to make sure those second tiers are meeting aerospace, quality requirement before they make Moog parts. Okay, but the problem is those unknown and the second tier suppliers have been shipping to Moog thousands of pieces of parts already by the time I was, alerted. That thing happened in June 2015. Okay? But Claire declined to go to audit those suppliers. He said, it's not Moog's responsibility because we approved NHJ, so it's NHJ's responsibility to audit the second tier suppliers. I said, Claire, that's not right. So in aerospace, I have been working for Moog for 10 years or 7 years. So I don't know, we should or we could source any part from any suppliers. We don't even know them. Okay, that is a violation of Moog's quality requirement. But she said, in Moog system, we don't do that. I said, I had an argument, and I reported this thing to Claire's boss, direct boss. She was working in this supply chain. She dotted line, report to me, but she had a direct boss based in Philippines. When this SQE manager, Claire, refused to go and audit those suppliers, I told Joe, I said, Joe, I go myself, to audit second tier suppliers. So that is in June 2015. Joe agreed. Then I spent 2 days, okay, and I went to 4 of the second tier suppliers. NHJ told Moog they sourced parts from. Okay, I spent 2 days with another SDE. I mean the supplier account manager. Okay, he is responsible for NHJ. Then we went to the 4 of the suppliers they told us, and we checked their quality system, the manufacturing process. I feel they are nowhere meeting our requirements because they don't have this traceability system. Traceability is vital in aerospace. That traces down the part manufactured throughout the manufacturing process, starting from using the approved raw material. So they don't have that system. Even NHJ had the big issue. We identified this issue in those period of time already. We are making some critical corrective actions, but however, those second tier supplies is nowhere they can manufacture Moog parts. So after this 2-day audit, we had a summary meeting with the owner of that supplier. The owner name is Li Jian. Mr. Li Jian is a Chinese national, and this is a private-owned company located in Suzhou area. It's a 1 hour's drive from Shanghai. Okay, then we sit down with the owner of the, and his team, and I talked the serious, the finding of the issue. So we said, okay, so we should suspend using these second-tier suppliers for Moog parts until they are improved. Okay, that is our agreement we made. Then I wrote audit report. Then I wrote this report. I forwarded to Joe. Of course, copy my, my subordinate.
Sure.
Okay, and Joe at that time was in U.S. in the headquarters attending meetings, and he wrote me back in just 1 sentence. Excellent.
You told your supervisor that he should stop using that particular Chinese supplier.
Yeah, for the moment, and we should hold, suspend, and until they are really, improved there. 2 weeks back, 2 weeks later, he came back from US, and he bypassed me. He just instructed my people, 2 of my people. One people is handling this, the order, orders, given to China. The other guy is managing that supplier. He instructed them to expedite developing that supplier, giving more business to that supplier and its second tiers. So you see the problem is here. He was doing the contrary of what I told him, and it seems he agreed with me, my report, but he actually did. It's the contrary.
So he told you that he was going to agree, that he was going to execute what you said. That he agreed, right, because it is exactly what should happen, and he right, recognized that, and he told you that's excellent, that's what we'll do, and then as soon as he gets back, he immediately does exactly the opposite.
Yes, I wrote him the audit report on the 7th of June. Okay, 7th of July, July or June. Okay, I kept that documentation. You see, when I realized Joe is doing the opposite thing, what he should do, and I saw he is a faulty guy, and I then in August, early August, I requested my guy who is managing that supplier, XHJ, to do another particular audit. Day of 7th of August 27, my subordinate, by the name, let's just give assume the name S. Okay, S. This S guy, he went to the XHJ. He did product audit, and he came back with audit report, several pages. And with that, I found very, very alarming, discrepancies of the traceability. So the documentations of that supplier is not matching each other, losing traceability of materials. Okay, that is one of the number one biggest aerospace issues all over the world. Okay, because if you lose the traceability, you never know where you buy the material. So that is the rule number one of violation. Okay, so I found that issue, then I whistleblower boss, Kevin Wallach, on the 7th of August. That is internal, okay? Because I trusted Kevin is an honest guy, so I trusted him, so I reported on Joe and this Chinese organized crime entity, NHJ. So with the audit report attached, and also with the email I sent to Joe, in a whistleblowing email to Kevin, I wrote, Kevin, I took the risk of my job, of my life, to report to you. I don't know how Joe is leading us to where, that is a disastrous road we are heading, so we should stop this. So upon my whistleblowing, Kevin and another Moog aircraft group VP for quality by the name Messi McGill, okay, they ordered a 3-week investigation led by Claire Stadek, that incompetent SQE manager based in Shanghai, China, in my office. Okay, that lady. And that lady, during a 3 weeks time, she went to the supplier only 3 times. Each time, she spent 4 or 5 hours on site together with my subordinate SDE named S. Okay? Because she does not speak Chinese, my SDE, he is fluent Chinese and English, so he helped, collect the documentation, where to look at, all those things. He arranged that, and he accompanied us clear throughout the audit. On the first audit, that is something, 20th of August, 2015, she came back with a report. She said, we had some discrepancies, the traceability mismatches, we should not use, the second tier suppliers because, she realized the issues. And I told her to audit them. She refused earlier, okay? But she did wrote audit report, initial audit report. But in that report, she said, honestly, these people, is innocently making mistakes. So they are not intentionally using counterfeit materials in Moog parts. That was something she wrote in her report. You see, but in that very...
But if they know that they're doing it, that's what matters.
Yes.
They know it's happening, and they're not they may not be deliberately but if you know that you're doing it and you haven't fixed it yet, then at that point they're still responsible for it.
Right. You see, even she did not find the root cause, and she folded her eyes, not try to find the root cause. But she did find some findings, like you see the mismatch, the quantities of the paperwork, that is not, allowed. That is forbidden in aerospace, because if your production documentations process documentations are mismatching, so that is already the parts is misrepresented. So that's according to FAA procedures, that is not allowed already, okay? However, they picked up some particular production lots of that single point of failure for Boeing 737 spoiler. Immediately they found some discrepancies and mismatch of quantities. Okay, then my guy, the S guy, told Clear on the second. That is a week later, to deep dive on that that mismatches that could possibly leading to the finding of that supplier using substitute material. You know the reaction of Claire? She said, no, we will do something else. He refused outright to deep investigate on traceability issues. My SDE told her, okay, that is mishandling of the investigation. However, my SDE, one day before Clear had this second supplier audit on-site investigation, one day before, he talked with the quality people of NHJ, the organized crime, Chinese crime entity. He talked privately with the manager of the quality guy, a lady. She is a lady. She said, how come your documentation did not match each other? And the quality lady named Miss Mao, M-A-O, her last name M-A-O, Mao, told my SDE S guy, she said, we don't have this travelers. Travelers is the vital aerospace production, documentation, recording each process of the manufacturing process. So that is the FAA required documentation to manufacture aerospace part. Okay, they don't have that. So that means, that is very serious. Because that document travels throughout the process, documenting first the raw material, the traceability. They don't have this documentation. In the first place, they were aware Moog was investigating on the traceabilities, so they forged a traveler one day before their first visit, that is on the 20th of August. Joe told Clear to further investigate on the traveler because the travelers, the quantities on the travelers are not matching with their computer systems because they have a computer system documenting the real materials, the real scraps, for the accounting purposes, because the boss cares about the money and they care about the cost. So their computer system is correct, but they forged the paperwork just to fool Moog. That is a violation. That is a crime already. And you see, this is a big point here. They admitted forging traveler. Okay, and Clear refused to investigate. Okay, then Clear just mishandled the investigation. I found out and I complained to her boss by the name of Subo Ba. Okay, he was based in Baguio, Philippines. Okay, and we had a meeting sometime in September 2015, just to verify some mishandling, to talk about the complaint. I complained on Clear's mishandling of the investigation. I specifically talked about, Clear refusing to investigate the forgery of the traveler. Clear in that meeting, 5 people meeting, tele-meeting, that's a conference call. She said, I never refused to investigate. But then my S guy, she was accompanying her, she said, Clear, I called you on the way. You drove from Shanghai to Suzhou to that supplier on the way to deep dive on the findings of the first audit. You said, no, we do something else. Then at that point, Clear was silent. Okay, so that is something clear intentionally, not really meant to fund this counterfeiting issue by the supplier. Okay, and Moog, I believe I did this complaint. I never received any reactions from Moog people, including Clear's boss and his boss. Of course, Kevin was very, very good person. He passed on the information to the quality people because the investigation is conducted by the quality team, not by supply chain team. Okay, so I trusted Kevin gave everything he had to the quality people. They hand this information. So okay, so that is one important thing. The other thing, Kevin and Jesse, the VP of quality of Moog Aircraft Group, they wrote a letter, joint letter to all 20 Chinese team. Sometime in August, telling everybody that Moog received some information as that supplier NHJ had quality issue. They might use substandard material for Moog, so we are investigating them. We should not talk to this supplier, and we keep confidential, and that investigation was conducted by Clear. Okay, so that email sent to everybody, including Joe and me. Okay, but the second day, Joe received that. He asked me to be in his office. My office is next to his office. Okay, we have small offices, so my office is next to him. So he asked me into his office. He said, "Charles, can you tell me who could be the whistleblower? To Moog management that supplier has problem." You see, everybody will feel weird. Honest manager, a Moog employee should look into. He should talk to me, and we should how we investigate that supplier. But his first question is, can you guess who might be the whistleblower? He might be thinking I'm the guy, whistleblower, but he tried to figure out if I admit I'm the whistleblower. You see, he's the bad guy. He's a conspirator of that Chinese supplier. You see, and that story happened on the 22nd of August 2015, and then I was visiting other suppliers when I received a call sometime, also in August by my SDE S guy. The S guy called me by phone. He said, "Charles, I have something very, very urgent. Joe just called me because this guy was based in Suzhou in that supplier. He received the call in the early morning, sometime like 7 o'clock in the morning. Joe called him. He said, "This guy, please tell the owner of NHJ that we are investigating them, so let them prepared for us investigation." And that this guy was really upset. He said he also was a recipient of Kevin's email not to tell anything to that supplier. He said, "Yeah, I don't know how to do this." Then he called me. I said, "This guy, you cannot do this thing. Okay? This thing is a clear sign that Joe was, conspiring with that supplier, because if we tell them, they will start tampering evidences, destroying crime, evidences. So we cannot do this. Sure. You should report to Kevin. You see, I want to have this guy tell Kevin to make my story, reliable. So I said, "This guy, you call Kevin 10 minutes. I call Kevin." So that is in the early morning. So Kevin was based in New York. We have 12 hours difference. So then I immediately called Kevin. I said, "Kevin, I had this story. Joe was trying to instruct us to tell, this Mr. Lee of that, Chinese supplier, everything. So I think that is a violation, big bad thing. We cannot do this. Kevin said, no, we cannot do this. I said, that S guy will call you shortly, so keep your mobile, open. So Kevin said, yes. So that guy also called Kevin, proving that, Joe was, trying to release the confidential Moog investigation information to that supplier. You see, but, after, I called Kevin, he called me again. He said, Charles, Joe called me again. He said, you don't need to call to tell the boss of the XHJ. I called. Joe called XHJ. He told everything to Joe. He said, yeah, I want him to be prepared for our investigation to cooperate with us because his logic is, that's why it's a Moog approved supplier. So we should, this is not something criminal. This is only some innocent mistake. So we should improve them. You see that guy? His lie.
But by this time that you had reported it so many times, and Joe had said repeatedly, "Oh, we're going to fix it. Yes, we're going to fix it," and then they don't fix it.
With decent person, so everybody can feel this is something serious. This is not normal, innocent mistake. This is criminal investigation, and also there is a warning, written warning by his boss not to tell. Okay, he just acted against, Kevin's instruction not to tell. Okay, that is something not acceptable. That is criminal. Okay, and I observed after that date, that is the late of August. Joe was absent from office. Where he could possibly go. That supplier. Doing what? Working with the Chinese, organized crime entity to tamper evidences. Okay, that is big issue. Okay, then Moog did decide by the initial investigation report of Clear to exit from that supplier, XHJ, sometime in late August. Okay, but I felt there is something, cover up not normal. So I continued my own private investigation. After, this initial, investigation, I felt the irregularities of Moog trying to cover up the story and, this is a fraud. So I continued my own investigations privately and confidentially. I approached some approved vendors of Moog. One Chinese Moog approved supplier, raw material supplier. They were communicated by BE Aerospace, before 2013, on some suspicious material lot. They supposed to supply to that XHJ, okay? But when they checked the paperwork, they told BE Aerospace those paperwork was falsified, forged, okay? That supplier used a fake company stamp of that approved material vendor, okay? They saw that documentation is not their own, but there is a stamp. That stamp does not belong to them. Okay? So that is one story I picked up. I had a recording of the conversation with that material vendor, approved material vendor. And I had another meeting with a previous employee of XHJ. That guy, worked in XHJ, and he quit the job because he felt XHJ, was doing something really criminal. he created because he saw with his naked eye several, not just one, fake company stamps of approved aerospace raw material vendors. In that company, that fake stamps are used to falsify material source certifications. That is why I call organized crime. Okay, so I was prepared all this, new information. I thought this is something outrageous. I should report, not just to Kevin. I should report to CEO of Moog. Moog is a New York stock listed company, so headquartered in East Aurora, New York. I wrote a letter, another letter, the second whistleblowing letter to CEO of Moog, named John Scannell, and also the president of Moog Aircraft Group, Mark Trebert. Okay, Mark Trebert is the person who hired Joe, the bad guy. Okay, but Mark Trebert is basically he's an honest guy. At that time, at least. Okay, so I trusted this CEO, two CEOs, so I wrote another email with these new findings that supply intentionally, in an organized way, falsified material certifications for BE that they could possibly also falsify the material certification for Moog. So I whistleblowed to the CEO of Moog in January, on the 12th of January 2016, 1 year and a half ago. Okay, but I was told to leave the company by that very day. You see, I said this is a retaliation of my whistleblowing because I have felt since August of 2015 to early 2016 there was something against me. There is a corporate cover-up and fraud going on. So I felt I might have to be asked to leave the company. But I wrote in that email to CEO, don't let me go. Let me stay 30 days. Okay, because that is my contractually, legally allowed to stay in a company here in China in a labor law. I said I want to witness and provide information for the new investigation of NHJ. Okay, I take whatever responsibility for whistleblowing. But
yes,
I was told by the HR, and the HR people was told by the VP, then VP of Moog Supply Chain Aircraft Group. The name is Kate Schaefer. She's a lady. Okay, she told the HR told me this is a different thing. Charles, you did a good job, and you told us we know that, so you should go. That is separate. We had this reorganization. You should go, and we know this. Okay, so let us handle this. So, but I said, please don't let me go. I want to stay.
The only reason they're firing you is because you're whistleblowing. You're making trouble.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
I told the HR people. I said, if you want the people to go to reorganization, reduce the workforce, you should let the bad guy. Joe is the bad guy. Yeah. He was the guy. He's conspiring with the Chinese organized crime entity, so he should go. But they said, let's separate. You should go. Then they terminated my job on the 13th of January. Then the last word I told Moog, I said, I will whistleblow to FAA. Then I did the whistleblower on the same day. They terminated me to FAA safety hotline. Okay? But on the 14th, the second day I was terminated, I received a telephone call in the evening of the 14th by the S guy. He said, Charles, did you whistleblow to FAA? I said, yes, but how did you know? How did you know? He said, Joe was yelling in the office. He was telling everybody that Charles whistleblowed to FAA, Joe was instructed by his boss. Most likely, Kate Schiffer, the VP of supply chain, told Joe about my whistleblowing to FAA, which I told them not to tell Joe, because Joe is a suspect. If you disclose the information I whistleblower to you, then my life is in danger. But they did this anyway, and the funny thing is they asked Joe to lead another internal investigation. He asked my S-guy and Clear to give him whatever investigation information, previously to him, have a lead re-investigation. You see, this is a crime done by Moog people, management people. They try to defraud everybody, Boeing, air travelers, innocent people flying airplanes. This is a clear sign that Moog endorsed Joe conspiring with the organized Chinese crime entity to tamper evidences, to make things, disappear, surfacely, of course. There is no crime. This is, you see, there is a total
yes.
When Joe was, told, my whistleblowing in August, he is already working with that organized crime entity to tamper evidence, but he does not know technically how to do that properly. But in early January, he was officially, linked with my whistleblowing information, and he officially started working with the supplier again to tamper, just in case, FAA was coming. Okay? So I whistleblower to FAA. FAA acknowledged my whistleblowing in March, on the 10th of March 2016, last year, and they started the investigation. There was an investigator named Bob Fortune, communicated with me a few times during April of 2016. I told him, he asked the questions, I answered the questions, but some of his questions are really dumb questions, unprofessional questions. Like, I told him, the background and, the information I received from, the witnesses. I had these recordings that, this supplier NHJ was falsifying material certification. He said, what has that to do? What has BE Aerospace business to do with Moog? You see, this is a how stupid question an FAA official he could possibly ask. Then I explained to him, I said, Bob, so by verifying this story, then you should know, FAA should know what bad supplier Moog is dealing with. So if that supplier is a criminal in the past, how can a decent company like Moog trust to work with? Okay?
Yes,
and there is another development. You see, Clear put the supplier back into approved supplier back in the August or late September 2015. And that information I only knew during the legal action I was in the Air 21 wrongful termination, legal action with Moog. And during that legal action, I was released to 120 documentations which I did not keep when I left Moog abruptly. So in those documentations, one documentation, was a testimony by Clear. She said, I put back that supplier into approved supplier base again. That means that supplier is now still supplying possibly bad parts, counterfeit parts to Moog. Okay?
Yes.
interesting. Okay. So
boy.
Then you see now I'm talking. This is not only aircraft safety threat. It's a FAA accountability issue now. Okay. FAA, continued their investigation until 1st of June. They sent me a letter. That letter said, in only one sentence, there is no violation of FAA order, regulation, and standard substantiated, and the case was closed.
Boy,
So I was really, really sad, disappointed hearing this. Then I provided FAA more new informations, including the initial audit report. By Clear, she said, you see, the suppliers, second tiers, we should not use them. But when she talked, should not use them, that supplier already sourced thousands of pieces unapproved, misrepresented parts, and those parts already shipped to Moog, shipped to Boeing, and assembled into airplanes.
Oh,
Okay?
see, yeah.
So
they're protecting the defense supplier. Yeah.
On this 1st of June FAA letter, you see, there is no violation substantiated, which I already felt this FAA was abusing their authority. They did a really, really bad job. But I have no evidence to prove that because I have only one sentence letter received. So I continued to provide them information. I requested FAA to reopen the case upon my new information. But FAA declined reopen the investigation until middle of August 2016, last year. Then I had a lawyer, U.S. lawyer by that time, and my lawyer also communicated with FAA window person by the name of Al Westrom. And Al Westrom, in early August, he said, no, we are not going to reopen the case, and we think that case is closed. Then I was so disappointed, and I looked in very, very detail of whatever information I still kept. You see, then I looked at this initial SGI audit I requested him to do on the 7th of August 2015. Okay, I saw in that report there are 3 material lot numbers mentioned and quantity mentioned to make 4 production orders of that single point of failure part for Boeing 737 spoilers. I said, if Moog did not verify the material fact, which I repeatedly requested Moog, Boeing, and the FAA to do, they did not do that. I said, why not? I do it myself. Then I passed on that 3 lot raw material information to that approved vendor on the 14th of August. And that source came back 2 days later. He said, Charles, how come your quantities is 2 times more than we sold to that supplier? You see, when he told me this, I had a voice recording. Okay, that is evidence. And I used this evidence comparing bombshell B1, comparing evidence. Then I communicated to FAA. I requested them reopen the investigation, which FAA did. Okay, then they just spent 2 months without, really substantiating the violation. And I and my lawyer kept pressure on FAA. I wrote a letter to FAA Director, Mr. Hooter. I said, I felt, there might be abuse, dereliction, of duty by your investigators. You really should, put more resources to investigate it, because this is no longer an innocent mistake of using bad material. This is organized crime. You should, according to FAA, suspected unapproved parts procedure, contact law enforcement agencies, meaning Department of Justice or FBI's, to work with you, because this is already a criminal activity. And in turn, since the FAA has no jurisdiction to come over to China to conduct.
Yeah, that's part of the problem.
Yeah. But the FAA, the FBI, and Department of Justice has a working relationship with a counterpart of Chinese, Department of Justice and the Chinese police. We, the Chinese counterpart, could cooperate with you to investigate this criminality. Okay? I told them exactly like that. Only by this, pressure and whatever communications with FAA, leadership, then they give me another investigation report. On the 8th of November, they said violation substantiated. So with that, only a simple letter failed. So what violation did you substantiate? Then I filed more information, detailed investigation information, and the FAA did release these two investigation reports. One is before June, one is after June till the November. Two investigation report to me in December 2016, last year. And when I looked at these investigation reports, I've realized FAA did abuse their authority, they neglected their duty to do this job. They did not verify whatever information I give them. So, for instance, the information I used, the documentation I used to verify that 3-lot counterfeit material was actually attached to Kevin Wallach in as early as August 2015, and again attached to CEO of Moog in January 2016, and again attached to FAA on the 13th of January 2016. They did not do any material verification, but FAA accepted whatever Moog is telling them. One thing is clear: FAA did not conduct independent investigation. They did not, accept or reference whatever objective evidence I provided, and they don't even, want to receive the voice recordings. I said, I have this witness recordings. Even though they are in Chinese, FAA is a government agency, you have Chinese translators, you can do that. If you don't trust me, the authenticity, I give them the transcript. So they can just determine, according to their own procedure, this is suspected criminal activities. They should work with DOJ or FBI to join in a team to investigate this criminality, which they did not do. And FAA's report, relatively detailed report, said, there is no evidence showing, this supplier is using fake stamps, there is no evidence,
Charles, we're coming to the end of the show. I need you, if you have a website where we have a lot of military guys who listen to our show, a lot of veterans who listen to our show, who are potentially interested in helping correct these oversights by the FAA, and certainly making sure that flight control systems are not degraded the way that you've described. So, and
I have
you have like a website in English?
Yeah, I have a Twitter account, Charles Shi CHARLES My family name SHI.
Charles SHI. She is SHI.
Yes, and 888. That's my Twitter account.